Hello, 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 everyone. How are you this evening? Hope all is well. Well, this is Lisa Marie Aird, Collegiate Success Coach with Campus Bound GPS, where we help students and parents navigate the college application process. This is also the time of year, October, where Campus Bound GPS has a series called October Tips. And what October Tips is, it is a daily set of every day in the month of October, there's a tip about the college application process, a tip to help students or parents or both while they're navigating the college application process. It is a service, what I call my community service, that helps you to alleviate some of the overwhelm, to alleviate some of the anxiety, to alleviate some of the stress that comes along with the college application process. And I am super, super, super excited to be here this evening. I do want to have just a quick check-in to see if folks on Facebook can actually see it. So I'm just kind of waiting around to see if our Facebook folks are getting the stream. Let me check 1 second. And we are live on Facebook, which is great. So we're on Facebook. So please like this video if you hear some good tidbits of information. Please like the YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Campus Bound GPS, so that we can, just know you can get notifications on every time we go live and present a tip on the college application process. So I had to make sure I said that because we are new. I am new to this whole YouTube experience. I'm excited about it. So it's one more avenue to share information about the college application process. And I'm just super excited. So tonight's tip is kind of a follow-up on yesterday's tip. Yesterday's tip focused on college admissions officers and noting that it takes college admission officers anywhere between 3 to 7 minutes or so. I've read in different places that it could take under 15 minutes. And it's true. So I had the experience, I had the exposure of seeing this in action. Someone videotaped university going through their application selections, and I put out some numbers yesterday that's over 6 million students applied through the Common App as of March this year. I think it's March this year, which is up 11% from last year. So there's a lot of students applying to colleges and universities, and there are about 4,000 universities. So that's a lot of applications. That's a lot of admissions officers going through a lot of data to find out if a applicant, a student, your child is the one that fits their school. And it's data. It's data driven. But the one thing, and this is how another thing I should say, another factor that's important is letters of recommendations. A letter of recommendation is something that between 1 and 3 letters of recommendation is needed for every application that goes out there. And the tip for tonight is goal. As a student, your goal is to get a glowing letter of recommendation. And you wonder how you're going to do that? Well, one thing is to, and I guess it starts your freshman year, but letters of recommendations tend to come from your junior year and senior year teachers. But I say it should start earlier than that. Be engaging in your classroom. This is directed for students. Engage in the classes that you're in. Get that teacher to see your personality, see your interest in class, make an impression with your teachers. I was speaking to a teacher today, and she said her most memorable students are the ones that leave an impact with her, and she follows them in their careers afterwards. So that's something that you should strive to do as a student. Make an impact on your teacher, and then you will get your glowing letter of recommendation. And like I said, recommendations come from teachers, but they also come from your guidance counselor. So I know some students don't see their guidance counselor for the first time until their senior year. I suggest you do it a little earlier. You get out there and you say, hey, I am so-and-so, and you are my guidance counselor. And I just want to check in and just see where I am, what I need to do. And it should be done freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and definitely senior year, because your guidance counselor will also be writing a letter of recommendation on your behalf. So how does the letter of recommendation play a role in getting selected to a college or university? You have your data. You have your GPA, your class, your SAT scores or ACT scores if you choose to submit those to, because there's also test optional schools and test blind schools going on now. So you have a choice in some schools. So read and find out more. But you have your, let's see, I mentioned your GPA, your class ranking. They take a look at your transcript and look at the types of classes you take, the rigor of the classes that you take. And college admissions officers are familiar with their territory. So they are familiar with the schools that they service and the schools that filter into their, while they're reading, they have an idea of the school's profile. So they kind of have an idea also what type of students they are looking for. So to humanize those numbers, and when I say humanize those numbers, letters of recommendations are important. So I know some schools, and I ran into this with one of my students this year that I was coaching. We went on his school website and they had dates associated with a form for parents and a form for a student to fill out bits of information. And this information is funneled to guidance counselors and teachers so they can start writing letters of recommendations, and they had dates assigned to them. That's one way of doing it. If your school doesn't have that, you would literally have to go up to teachers and ask. And if your teacher doesn't know you, well, what do? Well, some things you can do is write, sometimes they call it a brag sheet, a cheat sheet. You can write, some information, draft some information up and present it to your teacher so that they can have an idea. And included on that should be important elements, projects that you worked on, or anything that will make you shine. And another suggestion is when you're approaching your teacher to write a letter of recommendation, think about your intended major. Think about what your intended career choice would be and ask that teacher. So if you want to be a biology major, I would suggest you do not go to your art teacher. If you want to be in mathematics, you don't go to the head of the debate club and say, hey, I know you. Actually, you might get over with a debate. Well, no, I would say stick to a teacher that is close to your discipline that you're looking to get into. They will probably write something more focused and more tailored to your major, and write words that will encourage the admissions officers to put you into this program. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some do's and don'ts real quick, and hopefully this will help. Some do's are: do not wait until the last, well, Do ask early. That's what I'm trying to say. Do ask early. Do not wait until the very end of the deadline, college application deadline, to ask your teachers to write a letter of recommendation. It takes time. And know that you're not the only one who is asking your teacher to write a letter of recommendation. So I would suggest, if you have a November 15th, November 30th deadline, ask tomorrow when you go into school. Real talk. Start now. Ask early. So do choose a teacher, and I mentioned this before. Do choose your teachers carefully. Whoever is going to write your letter of recommendation, really choose them carefully, because you want somebody to write meaningful words about you. Meaningful words. Remember, this is rounding out your data. So you want that glow, right? You want that glow. You want someone to really write something of interest for you. I mentioned this again, but I'll put it under the do's. Give your teacher or your counselor a cheat sheet, or some folks may call it a brag sheet. It could be your resume, a list of activities, a list of, a basic description of who you are, just as a reminder. If it's a teacher who knows you, maybe a reminder of some projects that you worked on in that class and how well you performed in that class. Just something that will help them write that meaningful type of letter. And you may also consider giving them a list of your colleges so they can have an idea of what colleges you're interested in, and that can help them along as well. Also, do thank them. Thank them for writing your letter of recommendation. It is an extra thing that your teachers and your counselors are doing for you. Do not ask to see the letter of recommendation. Do not ask to see the letter of recommendation. That is not the most appropriate thing to do. Do not send to schools more letter of recommendations than what is asked for or what is required. If they say, please send one letter of recommendation, then you ask, or you put down on your Common App, or however you're submitting your application, you put down that one. If they say one teacher, you put down that one teacher's name. You don't put 5. One person is going to vouch for you. One person is putting their name on the line for you and saying, this student is an upstanding student. This student is a student who will focus and be a good addition to your university's community. And do not I'll put this under the do give your teachers a timeline. Let them have an idea of when the application is due. And do send reminders, because like I said, sometimes there are tons and tons and tons of students who are asking for letters of recommendations. So you may want to just kind of nudge your teacher a little bit after they've accepted and when it's close to the timeline. And please check your portals. When you're filling out your college applications, you may be alerted that you have your information in a portal, and your portal is a guide, a checklist. You'll see this has come in, this has come in, this is checked, and you'll get notifications. So please check your email and make sure. So last night, no, I believe it was a couple of nights ago, but there was one point when I was actually talking about the role of a parent. Actually, it was a workshop that I was in. That's to tell you how much stuff I got going on. But a workshop that I was presenting to parents and letting parents know their role. So parents, you are used to being in the driver's seat. During the college application process, you need to kind of step away a little bit and let students be in the driver's seat. So you students out there, this is for you. This is your future. This is your life. This is your goal. This is your intention. Be intentional about it. So when you are filling out your letters of your college applications, really be focused and streamlined on how you're doing it. When it comes to the portions for the letter of recommendation, know what teacher you asked, keep track of everything that you're doing, and be organized in it. That's really, really important. Be organized. Parents, you can help from the side by checking to see how organized your child is. You may nudge, do not hover. You may nudge and say, hey, you're coming up to this deadline. Ask, don't tell, ask what's going on. Hey, how's it going? Is everything going okay with your letters of recommendation? So that everybody's feeling the pressure, especially when that application, the button that says send, shoots through, and now you're like, there's a sigh of relief that you got it in, but now you're also anxious to find out, hey, are they going to receive everything, and so forth. So the letters of recommendations are a separate entity. Your focus, the child's focus, the parent's focus is, getting the application in, but now you have another person that you're watching their timeline. So do be organized and kind of check periodically if it's close. But if you do everything that I said with the do's, if you do choose your letter writers carefully and get someone who sort of knows you and will write a glowing letter of recommendation for you, if you do ask early and provide them with a timeline, if you do provide a letter of a resume, a cheat sheet or brag sheet, if you do provide them a list of your colleges, you should have all the ingredients to have a glowing letter of recommendation. So that's all I'm going to say for tonight. I want to thank you. I hope you take this tip and let it work magic for you. But seriously, as if there are younger students out there listening to this tip, start your freshman year and make a memorable impact with not only the teachers that you want a letter of recommendation written for you, with all of your teachers, because you never know. One teacher may go to another and say, hey, I didn't have this student in my class until my senior year. You had him or her your freshman, his or her freshman year. Can you tell me a little bit about them? Because people talk. So get to know, I don't want to say get to know, like don't hover over your teachers and say, I got to get to know you because I need you to write a letter of recommendation for you. But be that student who's intentional. Be that student who's not afraid to raise your hand and ask the question. Do not be afraid to, if you don't understand something, stay a little bit after school so you can find some clarity. That's how you get to be memorable. So make your high school experience matter. And I want to flip back to yesterday's tip. Make those 3 to 7 minutes count. And it has to start early, because when it comes to admissions officers reading your data, reading your letters of recommendation, reading your essays, that's what's going to take you into the school that's the best fit for you. You want to put yourself in a position to be successful. Start early. So my tip tonight, your goal, get a glowing letter of recommendation, or get glowing recommendation letters. Okay, so that's it for tonight. I want to thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. You'll get notifications on when the next tips are. We are over the halfway mark for October tips. So we're running towards the finish line. This has been a great experience so far. Keep watching. Send me information about what you want to hear about. Please post it. Let us know, and we will try to get a guest or information to provide you with whatever topic is on the top of your list. So that's it for tonight. I am Lisa Marie Aird with Campus Bound GPS, where we help students and parents navigate the college application process. And this is October Tips. Good night and have a safe evening.